Our second speaker today is a relatively new member of the club. Again, a person who joined our club but yet has been a Toastmaster for many years before. And Joel Heffner is going to speak today this on slides before slides. So help me welcome Joel. Joel, you'll need to unmute. Go ahead and restart whenever you're ready.
What a mistake. I'm going to talk about technology, and I forgot the most important button. Okay. When most of us think about slides, we think about things like PowerPoint. I say most of us, because at least one of us thinks about other things. And I'd like to talk about some of those other things, because I've been speaking publicly for more than 50 years. I have a little experience with some of those other things. When I was a teacher, I spent 28 years using this as my presentation mode. And it worked pretty well, especially when we used high-tech things, which we called different color chalk. And then there were other kinds of technology that came out, but I really couldn't use them in school, even though they were very popular. The slides that many people used before PowerPoint and things like that looked like this. You could fit them in the palm of your hand. They're called 35 millimeter slides, and then you can use them using your cameras that took film at the time. And if you wanted to project them onto a screen, you would need a projector that looked like this. In all of the years that I was a classroom teacher, 28 years exactly, I never used this. People could use slides and make what they considered to be audiovisual presentations using multiple projectors. In my lifetime, I've never sat in on somebody who used such a multimedia show, but it was possible. There were, however, other kinds of slides that were used, not necessarily during my lifetime, but just before that. And they looked something like this. These are pieces of wood that have an image within it. Usually the image was drawn, and sometimes it was made through photography. The image was projected using a projector that looked something like this. This particular projector could project 3 slides at the same time, and it was about 3 or 4 feet high. The slides, you can get an idea of the size of them, were several inches by several inches. This is me holding one of them up against my computer screen. These are called magic lantern slides. And these magic lantern slides on this kind of magic lantern projector traditionally used a light that was projected through candles and things like that. The projector that I showed you actually used light that was projected using electricity. However, this kind of projector could show multimedia slides using a slide that looks like this. And you see the handle on the side. And what would happen is there would be two photographs on pieces of glass that would be on this slide. And as you turn the crank, one of them would move and create a truly unusual sight. This is actually a magic lantern slide that somebody would be cranking and using in order to present a show. Now, I use the expression show because magic lantern projectionists did not go and speak just using their own image. What they would do is they would come with usually a piano player and maybe a singer, and they would produce a kind of a mini show. And this kind of shows us that the art of presenting, as we know it, really was started by these magic lanternists. Some of them would be very theatrical, and those people would end up creating the introduction to something new. If you think about, if you've ever seen movie theaters where there was music being played because it was showing a silent movie, well, that came out of the idea of magic lanterns because they were able to add slides and motion. But the magic lanternists were the ones who really created that. So now we have movies as we know them, and we have speakers like us who generally use a projector, using a computer, using still images, although some more advanced people do use multimedia shows. But all of this started with the use of magic lanterns. And they were popular as many as 200 years ago. Very interesting to find out about magic lanterns. There's actually a convention going on very soon in the United States about their use. I hope that some of you will look into it in the future.